At last, we're at the end. Hopefully you've enjoyed this deep dive of the sharks of the world as much as I have, and more importantly that you've learned something that you didn't before. Last, but certainly not least, are the Hexanchiformes, otherwise known as the frilled and cow sharks. Why are they called cow sharks? Well, why aren't they called cow sharks? This order is often considered to be one of, if not the most primitive of the sharks, dating back to the beginning of the Jurassic period. Let's dive in, shall we? Frilled sharks are deep-sea dwelling, eel-like sharks that can be found throughout the Atlantic, Indian, and Pacific Oceans. One of their most iconic features are their incredibly sharp eel-like teeth, which can number in the 300s. Just like the crocodile shark, they partake in a daily vertical migration to look for food. Their prey of choice is usually cephalopods, deep-sea fish, and occasionally smaller sharks. Very little is known about them as they live in the deep parts of the ocean that we haven't fully studied, because friendly reminder, we know more about space than the bottom of the ocean. The last family of sharks on our deep dive are the cow sharks. Just like the previously mentioned frilled sharks, they're very primitive deep-sea dwellers. Their lineage can actually be traced back to the Triassic Permian extinction event. You know, the biggest extinction event on record that killed more than 80% of marine life? Dude, these cow sharks are survivors. The species is split into two unofficial groups based on how many gill slits they have, the 6 gills and the 7 gills. Typical sharks only have about 5 or less, but the cow sharks have more, which is another hint to their ancient origins. My personal favorite species of cow shark is the blunt-nosed 6-gill, which is actually called the cow shark by some people, which is just further confusing. I'm going to talk about the story so I don't lose my mind. A few decades ago, there were large amounts of 6-gills in the Puget Sound, and scientists actually believed that they were expecting and they came in here to have their babies, as most sharks have babies in estuaries because it's a safer place to grow up in the open ocean. So if that is true, hopefully in a few years, we'll get even more 6-gills into the area having babies, and we can learn more about this incredible primitive shark. And that's all the sharks. Thank you all so much for joining me this week. If you enjoy this type of content, I'd recommend that you subscribe, as it's the best way to support the channel. We just passed 300 subscribers, which is incredible. I cannot believe 300 people watch this channel. That means the world to me. Thank you all so much, and you can expect more videos in the future. Now the only question is, what am I going to do with Shark Week next year? I don't know, it's a while coming. I got time to think of something.